Good evening, Mesa fans. We are joined by sophomore Jeramiah Havens. Havens, a product out of Las Plumas High School. Jeremiah, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, you're having one heck of a year, right?
Yeah.
Started early for you this year.
Yep.
February, the Kamaka Multis hit your state eight marks. I believe it was 6.80, right? And then a
Yep.
16.73 in the 110 hurdles. Hey,
Yep.
uh, did you know or did you have a feeling that you were going to have one strong season this year?
We knew there was the potential for a strong season.
Uh-huh.
I just had to stay consistent and disciplined with my training, and my coaches really helped me get there. So,
Yeah.
yeah, we knew it was something that could happen.
So you're a decathlete, trying to master a lot of disciplines. Let me ask you: is there any particular events that you particularly enjoy or favor?
Um, well, all of them are fun. I don't not enjoy any of them. But pole vault is very fun,
Mhm.
especially once you get going. Being upside down in the air on a
Mhm.
15-foot pole is very exciting. Your adrenaline
Mhm.
goes crazy.
Mhm.
And then all the jumps are fun too. Long jump, another thing, just floating in the air, landing in the sand. That's something I've always liked doing. So
Yeah, I know we were just talking, offline for a little bit here, and one of the things that people sometimes forget is the amount of practice, the amount of
yeah,
sacrifice, the discipline that it takes in order,
yeah,
for an athlete to try to master one event or sport, but yet here you are trying to do all of them, right?
yeah, yeah,
That takes a special type of person that does
yeah,
it. And we were just talking about pole vault, for example. Some people just
hmm
think, yeah, you have this pole, you're gonna jump up and you're gonna bolt over a over a bar, not really realizing just how much technical things are involved
yeah,
for you to be up what 2 story high, right?
yeah,
And also
yeah,
the danger,
yeah.
right?
It's very dangerous. Yeah.
Hey, we have states coming up this week. Well, what has the coaching staff planned for you to follow this next couple of days before we head over to Modesto?
So the big thing is staying consistent. That's what my
Mhm.
coaches preach to me, is just staying consistent with all my training. Um, Usually the volume's a lot higher with my normal training block, but we're
Uh,
cutting it down a lot, trying to keep my legs fresh as possible before the meet. But it's just staying consistent and disciplined with my training and trusting the process.
yeah, let me ask you about that. That's a word that gets thrown a lot with the track and field team. Well, particularly both. Any program that Sean Ricketts and Bex has handled, it's always trust the process.
Yeah,
They always have a strict plan, whether it's progression, whether it's process. Tell me about the coaching staff you have at Mesa. Of course, as I said, starting with Sean. Tell me as an athlete, what makes their program so successful?
it's very organized.
Mhm.
Coach Ricketts plans all my training, and he also plans training for all the other coaches, all the other athletes as well.
Mhm.
Um, but they just care about the athletes. I feel like when they're doing their training sessions and stuff, it's not just one big group workout. It's like
Mhm.
each individual athlete has their own like workout to do, the stuff they need to
Mhm.
work on,
Mhm.
and the coaches just care. Um, with all the coaches, like Coach West with hurdles, he
Mhm.
does one-on-one with me quite a bit.
Mhm.
Um, and then Coach Ronnie, our jumps coach, has worked with me. I don't know how many hours to work with my long jump and high jump and just staying consistent with it. And it's paid off. It definitely shows. And yeah, they're just a really good coaching staff. And even with Coach Burks, he's gotten my vault about like 6 feet higher than it was
Mhm.
about 2 years ago. So they're definitely great coaches.
And that's another thing that I forgot to add. And there are just so many disciplines that you have
Yeah,
to work at.
yeah,
How do you split that up? So let's say, for example, practice starts at, I'm just throwing it a time, but let's say that practice would start at 3 o'clock,
yeah.
right? Um, do you separate it in categories, jumps, runs,
So
or you practice?
I can run you through what my typical training
Sure.
block looks like.
Yeah. What does that look like?
Um, so we practice in the mornings.
Uh-huh.
For most things on Mondays, I have a picture of it. On Monday, I am typically doing hurdles from around
Mm-hmm.
9:30 to 11:30, depending on the day.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have weights after that. Tuesday, I work high jump and whatever sprints I need to do. Wednesday, I'll work discus in the morning, and then I'll go. Oh, Tuesday also I do pole vault at night. So I'll
Uh-huh.
have about a 2 hour practice in the morning and a 2 hour practice at night on Tuesdays. Um, Wednesdays I will have discus in the morning for about an hour, and then I go and do long jump for about another hour, and then I go and have weights for about another hour, and then Thursday is javelin in the morning at 8 a.m. for about an hour and a half, and then I do either hurdles or jumps depending whatever I need the most that week.
Hmm.
And Friday is typically either a meet day or just a recovery day.
Hmm. In other
And then
words,
I'm also supposed to, yeah, there's a lot. And I'm
there's
also
a
supposed
lot.
to integrate like every other day, like a 15-minute run after
Hmm.
the the training sessions. So there's just, yeah, there's quite a bit.
Well, that leads me to my next question. That is a extremely busy schedule.
Yeah,
What's the hardest part about being a student athlete, and especially a discipline like yours, as you just told us? I'm sure there's a bunch of other things that you could be doing, going out, going to
yeah,
restaurants, having some food that you'd like to eat. But your dedication,
yeah,
has to always be on point. Uh,
yeah,
Tell me about the struggles about being a student athlete, and of course, what the goals are with all
yeah.
the sacrifice that you're doing.
Well, the first thing is you just got to love it,
Mhm.
especially with the decathlon. Like, there's a certain mindset you have to be able to train through all that because you have to love it. Um, but it's yeah, I've been competing. I've been a multi-athlete sport since I was a freshman in high school.
Yeah.
Um, so I know it's just normal for me now to have sports all day and then have schoolwork on top of that. Um, and with the eating part, I generally eat whatever I want just because I need as many calories as I can get.
Of course.
Um, so it's like I try and cut back on the sweets as much as I can, but I eat quite a bit. But it's definitely not something that anybody can do.
Absolutely. Once again, we are joined by sophomore Jeremiah Havens out of Las Plumas High School out of Orville, up in Northern California, right
Yep.
close to
Yep.
Chico.
Yep.
Hey, two more questions for you. As we discussed earlier, States is coming up. Second place last year,
Yep.
lost to the eventual champion, and Mount Sac is traditionally a strong powerhouse, and they showed why they're
Definitely.
number one with the regional final with the SoCal finals this past weekend. What if you can share with us a little bit? What has the coaching staff been telling you guys about what we need to do in order to perform and make some noise this weekend?
They're just saying we gotta perform as a team. If everybody does what they're supposed to do, then we have a good chance of doing something. But
Mhm.
we have to perform as a team first. We can't go out and slack off. We have to put the work in,
Mhm.
and like I said earlier, trust the process.
Absolutely. Hey, last question for you.
Yep.
What are your plans after Mesa? If you can share with us.
I plan on transferring. I'm talking to
Mhm.
um, a few schools in the Big West, like UC Irvine, Cal Poly SLO, Santa Barbara, and Fullerton as well. And I've just started talks with Kansas State, so hopefully that will go well.
And what do you want to do afterwards? After what's
Uh,
done, what do you want to get into?
I'm not sure yet. I work in the boating industry, so maybe I'll get my captain's license,
Okay.
um, work on some boats, but I'm not really 100% sure yet.
That's amazing. All right. Well, Jeremiah, well, let me be the first one to call you Captain Jeremiah Stevens.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time today.
Yeah,
Uh,
no problem.
Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
We'll stay in touch with the coaching staff and get updates as you guys go. But hey, let's go bring that title back to Mesa, huh?
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, man.